Shalom. Before I begin, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. I'd like to say double honors to my teachers, the head apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone that root well and that teach well, and also shalom and salutations to you fellow brethren and you fellow laborers that are laboring in this work as well. So I'm back once again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai with another quick lesson, and this lesson is just going to be concerning wisdom, man. Because there's a time and place to apply wisdom, and another word for wisdom is finesse, man. You see, finesse can be interchangeable with the word wisdom. You see, and I'm going to begin with getting the definition of the word finesse, man. You see, and this is the word finesse in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. And I'm going to get straight to the point. The second definition reads, skillful handling of a situation. You see, adroit maneuvering. You see, so finesse is basically you being able to make rational decisions, to make the right decision in due season, man, in the right setting. To escape or to benefit yourself, man. That is finesse, or in other words, that's wisdom, man. You see? And there's many accounts, countless accounts in the scriptures where our forefathers, applied finesse or wisdom to escape out of certain situations, man. You see? But before I go on, let me grab a quick precept. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 20 and verse 20. And it reads, a wise sentence shall be rejected when it cometh out of a fool's mouth, for he will not speak it in due season, man. You see, so there's a specific time and place to do certain things, man. You see? And there's also a certain time and place to apply wisdom. You see? And if you apply it in due season, it's going to be fruitful, man. And you're going to receive of that fruit. You see? So, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashim al-Shai, I'm going to get into a couple accounts where our forefathers, applied wisdom. Matter of fact, before I grab that, let me grab this in the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4, and it reads, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So these accounts of old, these things that were foretold or forewritten by of our forefathers was written for us to consider, man, in this lifetime and to apply. You see? So I'm going to begin here in a most notable account, man, which is our forefather Jacob. You see? So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 30. And it reads, and it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. You see, so what to set the stage real quick of the story, man, of this Jacob and Esau story is the younger brother Jacob had supplanted the older brother Esau. You see, he feigned himself to look like his brother to receive a blessing from his father, man. You see, because the blessing was originally supposed to belong to was supposed to go to Esau, the elder brother, because that's how it was in the ancient time, man. The elder would receive the blessing. You see, but in this case, the Lord uh, made it so that the younger brother Jacob would receive the firstborn blessing, man, because that was rightly his in the spirit, man. You see? So we're gonna pick it up where Jacob had just finessed his father. You see? From took the blessing of the firstborn, man. You know, and as soon as Jacob had left, Esau, his brother, came in, you know, to receive what was his. But little did he know that it was already taken, man. You see, so verse 31, and he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that had taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest. And he have blessed him, yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and had taken away thy blessing, man. You see, so Jacob came with subtlety, or wisdom, or finesse, and took the blessing, man. You see? So verse 36 goes on and says, and he said, is not he rightly named Jacob or Yaquab? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? You see, so that name in itself holds weight, man. You know, the name Jacob or Yaquab, it translates to supplanter, man. You see? Or in other words, finesse or wisdom, man. And we have that spirit of our forefather Jacob, you know, which he was the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, which today their modern terms will be the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. You see? That spirit is within each and every individual that's an Israelite, man. You see? That finesse spirit, which is actually wisdom, man. You see? So let me get into that word subtlety. And it doesn't give you much here, but when you go to the Strong's definition, the word craft, you know, pops out. And when you look up that word craft, it translates to, you see, skill. Or when you go down here, the first definition, an activity involving skill in making things by hand. You know? So it takes skill, or the word subtlety translates to skill, man. You see? And when we go back to the word finesse, when we read the second definition, it says skillful handling of a situation. You see? So it's skill. Those 2 words are interchangeable. Finesse, subtlety, or wisdom and finesse, man. You see, all these words mean the same thing. All right. So let's jump there to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 21, beginning at verse 10. And it reads, and David arose and fled that day for fear of Saul, and went to Achish, the king of Gath. And the servants of Achish said unto him, is not this David the king of the land? Did they not sing one to another of him in dances, saying, Saul had slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s. And David laid up these words in his heart, meaning what? David examined the situation, man. You see, because he was on the run, from Saul. So he had to apply wisdom in any situation he encountered. Anybody he could have, ran across could have gave him up to Saul, man. You see? But what? It says what? Verse 12, and David laid up these words in his heart. So David examined the situation, man. You see, he's like, yo, these men know who I am, man. They know, or they have heard about me. You see? And it goes on to say, and was sore afraid of Achish, the king of Gath. But what did King David do? Let's see how King David applied wisdom to escape the situation, or how did he finesse the situation to escape it, man? You see, verse 13, and he changed his Salakia, and he changed his behavior before them, and feigned himself mad in their hands, and scrambled on the doors of the gate, and let his spittle fall down upon his beard, man. So David basically acted like a retard, man. For them not to identify him as King David. You see, because that's another thing as well. In the ancient world, you would hear the fame of somebody. You would hear about them, but you would never see them, man. You see, in this case, they didn't actually see David physically, but they've heard of him. They heard of his physique, his appearance, most likely, man. But they never really seen him in person. So what King David did was he used finesse, or applied wisdom, and making himself act and look like a retard, man, to escape this dire situation, man. So verse 14 says, then said Achish unto his servants, lo, ye see the man is mad. Wherefore then have ye brought him to me? Have I need of mad men, that ye have brought this fellow to play the madman in my presence? Shall this fellow come unto me? Salakia, shall this fellow come on into my house? You see? So King David was rejected. Why? Because he used wisdom and made himself basically look retarded, man. But he had to do that in order to escape that situation, man. Because Achish would have delivered him into the hands of Saul, man. You see? So that's another account which our forefathers, King David, used wisdom or finesse to escape a dire situation, man. You see? So let's jump to the book of Acts, chapter 22, and beginning at verse 22. And it reads, and this will be concerning Saul, or Paul. And it goes on to say, and they gave him audience unto this word, and then lifted up their voices and said, away with such a fellow from the earth, for it is not fit that he should live. So to set the stage once again, as Paul is being he's basically being persecuted, and what they're gonna do to him is basically try to kill him, try to set him up or put him into the hands of the Romans, man. You see, they wanted Paul gone, man, so to speak. But let's see what Paul did, or how Paul applied finesse to escape the situation, man. Verse 23, and as they cried out and cast out their clothes and threw dust into the air, the chief captain commanded him to be brought into the castle, and bade that he should be examined by scourging, that he might know wherefore they cried so against him. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by. You see, so Paul was bound, man. You see, but let's see what he examined the situation. Let's see how he applied the wisdom or the finesse to escape the situation, man. And it says, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, "Take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman." Was Paul actually a Roman? No, man. Paul was not a Roman, but he had a Roman citizenship. Paul was an Israelite, man, but he had a Roman citizenship. He used that to escape being bound, and scourged by the Romans, man. You see, verse 27. Then the chief captain came and said unto him, "Tell me, art thou a Roman?" He said, "Yea." And the chief captain answered, "With a great sum obtained I this freedom." And Paul said, "But I was free born." Then straightway they departed from him, which should have examined him. And the chief captain also was afraid, after he knew that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him. So Paul was left alone because he applied wisdom, man. He examined the situation first and then applied wisdom to escape it, man, or finesse, man. You see? So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashah, I hope that lesson was edifying. I'm going to close off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. Once again, I'd like to say double honors to my teachers, the head apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that teach well, and shalom, and salutations to you fellow brethren and you fellow laborers that are laboring in this work as well. Until next time, shalom.